Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Funko Pop Books #3, Cthulhu. The Cthulhu vinyl figure is, well, one of Spot's personal favorite characters. Though initially Spot butchered his name. The Cthulhu is basically like a gargoyle, mixed with kind of like the head of an octopus. That's probably not the best way to describe it, but it's always one of the more fascinating mythical creatures from books. And speaking of books, this comes to us from the Funko Book series of pop vinyl figures, recommended for ages 14 and up. Side of the box features the Cthulhu #3, and also on the back, the monster lies dead but dreaming in the city of, and again, Relay? I don't know if that's the correct way of pronouncing it. It could be Relay. A place of non-Euclidean madness, presently and mercifully sunken below the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Imprisoned beneath the sea, he waits to return. Collect the entire line of Pop Funko, or Funko Pop Books, super stylized vinyl figures. Funny enough, though, the Cthulhu is the only thing that's listed on the back. It's #3 of the book line, but usually they would have the other characters listed, and they may not go for read-up. So maybe this particular figure is a more exclusive. I'm not quite sure. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up, but when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Funko Pop Books Cthulhu. There's more heading away, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Out of box, the Cthulhu is misleadingly large. You actually don't gauge how big he is until you get him out of the package. And in fact, not only is he big, but he's got an extra bit of weight to him, and probably a lot of the weight is chalked up to the extra sculpt that they added to the face, as well as the fact that he's also got the wings on the back too. Not something that you see with a lot of Funko Pop vinyl figures, so I really like that. Coloring is very neutral. There's not really a lot of coloring to be said for it. It's almost a very creamy olive, almost like an olive cream color, making up the majority of his face, his body, and his wings. There are a little few accents here and there that kind of break up some of that. The areas of the nails on his feet and his hands are a slight lighter color than the rest of his body. Whereas the additional fur, I guess if you want to consider it fur, around the lower torso is that same sort of color, just a little bit darker. Also, some little interesting points to note too is the suctions on his tentacles are a lighter color, and they really help to pop on this particular figure, no pun intended. It's also one of the few figures that has an expression to the eyes. Normally with Funko Pop vinyl figures, they tend to have fully round eyes. This particular one does have the round eyes, although they've added eyelids, which is not something that you see with a lot of Funko figures, which is kind of cool. I like that. He doesn't have any sort of posability other than his head. His head is the only thing that really will rotate on the Cthulhu, and unfortunately when you rotate it, you will find that it will stop, unfortunately, when it hits the back wings, and that stops any sort of head movement beyond those points. It's not to say that you would need to rotate it any further than that anyways, and an interesting thing to note as well, his arms look like they want to be posable too, just the way that there's seams. But there is no posability there. It's completely staction. It's something that you would come to expect with the other Funko Pop vinyl figures. There's absolutely no articulation pretty much from the neck down. All the articulation is solely in the head. Spin around the back of the figure and just want to point out some of the little scales and the details that they put onto the cape or onto the wings. It's a really nice touch, and I do like the little areas of dark green that pop. Again, no pun intended. There's little areas, unfortunately, that are missed. They didn't quite get it in the same slot. It's kind of a little bit of an overlap, but it's small enough that you don't really notice it, especially if you've got him on display, as you see here. On the other side, we've got Funko. It's actually dated 2014 as well. Yeah, I really like this guy. He's probably one of my new favorite Funko figures. I've got a very large collection that's growing on a daily basis, and every time a very unique Funko figure stands out, I generally want to pick him up. This particular one I got through the Box of Dread subscription box service, and it's been the only place where I've been able to find him. I go to a local comic book store and Spot sees a lot of the Funko figures where I pick those up from. I don't think I've ever seen the Cthulhu there, so it was very cool to be able to pick this guy up. Today's collectible spot, we were having a look at the Funko Pop Books vinyl figures. We're looking at, I believe this was figure #3, the Cthulhu. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. See you next time.